Wait. You do the words. You sing the words, and I'll do the melody. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Esfand smells his own farts.
What? I like it.
Brat. Let me tell you something. Brapping is a new up-and-coming thing, okay? It used to be people were really...
It's like a music thing? Like,
yeah, it's like mumble rap, except...
in a way,
well,
yeah, sure.
Yeah, it can be. So how are they doing it, Mcconnell? It's like up-and-coming?
Yeah, it's an up-and-coming thing. It used to be, like, clopping was a big deal, but that kind of went to the wayside, and now it's brapping. Brapping is getting big. It's getting huge.
Clopping, meaning? Move with the clop.
Well, the clop was a dance move, right?
Wait, it says the
it's
animal.
Like everybody do the clop.
The animal clopped on a steady pace.
Yep, that's about right.
Oh wait, I found a different definition.
It's clopping is kind of like the Icky Shuffle.
Oh no! Oh no! Use it in a sentence, and then it says rainbow dash. Whip whip yip yip.
Yeah, boy. Yeah, dude.
Wait, should we do the viewer call-ins with everybody in here?
I don't give a fuck.
Rich, let me put it this way.
Yeah.
You ever put your mouth on a vacuum and had it suck your lips in?
Yeah.
Okay, brapping is basically the reverse of that. Do you understand?
So like the pool jets, when you put stuff on the pool jets.
Yeah.
So brapping is slamming a fart.
Big time. You just huff it in like you're doing whippets. Just like that, man.
Wait, Asmon, why do you hate brapping so much?
It's nasty. It's nasty and gross.
I'll pull in a random person right now. Hello, Blue Light.
Hey, what's up?
How you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good. I'm gonna turn you up a little bit. So what questions do you want to ask?
I would like to ask you, how do you feel the progression is going to be in Shadow? Like back on Wrath, you got different sets, but it was basically the same set on PvP. I mean.
The same set from PvP. You mean visual?
Yes. Like the first set was really scuffed, you
Oh,
know.
yeah,
Then you go to the different sets, and then you go to the last one.
And by Wrathful, it looked insanely cool.
And the Wrathful is the final one. So, would you like to see that on Shadowlands? Because I really liked that back then, and I think that's something that is missing from the game. Like you're progressing in power, but also visually, I think it's important.
So
I like that. I didn't like how at the beginning you had like a really scuffed set though. I didn't like that, but I was okay with a lot of the other stuff that's kind of surrounding that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, the thing is too though, is like I think that there were some cool moments where you felt like you visually were gaining power, right? But now you just transmog out of shitty sets, which is kind of a bummer, honestly, because there was something good about looking like shit and being this idiot, and then all of a sudden, I know I played Warlock back then. When you got Wrathful, you finally put on that PvP set, and for a Warlock, it was actually a skull. It was like this gruesome skull. It was an orange hood with a skull on it, and it was just the most badass moment when you finally got it, and that was part of the reward. And I usually would log off with that helmet on because you didn't have transmog. So I would put that helmet on, I'd log off, and I'd be like, look at this.
Yeah.
Look at this.
So you can see it on the character.
Yep. I knew when I'd wake up in the morning and still be waiting there. But yeah, I do think that that's much more exciting than playing for tints, kind of like we talked about on Allcraft today.
Yeah. Now, would you like to see something like that implemented to the mounts, though? Like you get like an armor to your mount, to your favorite one.
Oh, yes.
Different one.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
Yeah.
That'd be
Let's say
awesome.
9.1, you get, I don't know, X of the, whatever name is, and then 8.2, you get like an upgrade for that, and so on. Because right now mounts are kind of boring.
Mounts suck right now.
So we need something. I think that will be good for the game.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think something
Yeah,
like that would be cool.
100%.
I like pretty much Asmon's idea today on Allcraft, and he's talked about it a few times, like having a few different things that you could get on the mount that over time would actually show off achievements that you have in the game, allow you to actually customize things. I think that's something that's could kind of give a new point of progression that we don't currently have.
All right. Well, that was it. Thank you very much, and congrats on your 2 mounts, man.
Hey, yo, thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Which 2 mounts did you actually get today?
I got the Malevolent Drone from Corpse Eater, and I got... What was the other one I got? Oh, the Surf Jelly.
Which one?
The Surf Jelly.
What's the Surf Jelly?
The Surf Jelly was... it was an island nut. It's a jellyfish.
Did you get Mail Muncher yet?
No. No, I didn't.
How do you actually know how rare Mail Muncher is?
For me, it just doesn't drop at all. So, I mean...
50-50.
I have no idea. Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
50-50. You get it or you don't.
Blue, I'm going to move you out of here. Thank you very much for the questions.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, let's pull in someone else. Mcconnell, do you have any questions?
Yeah, I got a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Why are you so dumb?
Yeah, Asmon. Who's asking you?
Yeah, Asmon. Yeah, Asmon.
Wait, what about me?
You're dumb. He said
What
Dummy.
Okay.
He's stupid.
Okay, dude.
And mad.
Yeah. Anyway,
That was a good question. Thank you, McConnell.
yeah.
It's great.
What's up, Tyler?
What is up, guys? Wow. Did not think this would actually happen.
Yo, Tyler 1, what's up, man?
Yeah, you can call me T1 if you want, dude. That's cool. I guess my question, I've been watching all you guys, like, for years. Like, I was there when Asmon got his sub button back in the day, and I guess my
Thank you,
question
man.
like, are you, like, has it changed a lot for you, like, dealing with how many, like, viewers you have now? Like, when you're having, like, 50K viewers, like, is that, like, stressful? Like, do you wish that you could go back to the days of it being, like, 5 to 10K?
People aren't as fucking... I think, like, you know, the more viewers you have, the more, like, reward people get out of, like, being annoying or trying to get attention on stream, and, you know, I hate that. And so, like, that's probably one of the main negative side effects of having a lot of viewers, but other than that, I mean, like, I think there's, like, a few smaller things that are, like, streamer-centric things, but, no, I like having a lot of viewers. I really enjoy it. I mean, I'm very happy that my stream's been doing so well, and it's great. I mean, like, yeah, there are obviously, like, some positives to having a smaller community, and sometimes I would like to kind of have, like, a thing where I could just go and stream on, like, another place or another channel, and then just, like, kind of have, like, more, you know, like, more in-depth conversations. But overall, like, I'm very happy about it, honestly. It's great.
Yeah, I know Soda has, like, alternate channel where he, like, won't even put his cam on, and he'll just, like, stream and mess around. I didn't know if you'd ever thought of doing something like that, just for, like, because I know some people just, like, want to have you on their second monitor while we're playing too. So have you ever thought about, like, a second channel?
I've thought about it before. The reason I haven't done it really is because it's like, usually I like to have kind of time off the air and, like, to myself, and that way I can kind of just relax and just kind of be me and chill out. And, you know, like, every once in a while I'd like to do something like that. I mean, if I ever did something like a night stream for, like, maybe another game or whatever, I might do that. But right now I'm not really actively thinking about a second channel. But, and I think, like, the main reason for that is that I have actually really just been enjoying doing my streams recently with, you know, going and doing the mount offs and doing the different, like, achievements and all of that. And I've been having a lot of fun. So I haven't really felt the need for doing a second channel. But if I ever did want to do one, that could be fun. Like, I did, like, kind of Witcher night streams for a while, and that was kind of enjoyable. But I never really stuck with it because I don't really enjoy doing streams like that. I like kind of playing a you know, like, going to story games kind of by myself, unless it's a brand new game. The reason I don't like it is because you just kind of, you have people telling you what to do constantly, and it's, like, not really it's not the immersive experience that it is whenever you're doing it by yourself.
I actually like. I mean, a lot of people have been doing the second channel thing though. It really is interesting. I actually have a second channel that not many people know about. It's Mcconnell Rhett. I'm just kidding. Nobody uses that channel. Like literally nobody. It's not even. Nobody
Give me a
uses that.
break, man. I don't like it.
Nobody uses that channel ever.
That was pretty much my main question. Rich, I love the streams, dude. I'm glad I found you through Asmon. Like,
Thank
love
you.
whenever I'm like just watching AWC or whatever and see you on there. It's always like nice touch to have your like funniness in there. And then also McConnell, glad you're back on the streams, man. Missed you. Just great content to put Asmon in his place whenever he's getting a little out of hand.
Fuck Asmongold.
Yeah. But thanks a lot, man. And Asmon, I know you. This is my last thing. I know you. You say you're really good at remembering people. I was in a transmog comp of yours like a long time ago. My name was Relsnaff, and like I came. It was a Christmas one, and I came in like third place because my guy looked like Krampus.
You looked like Krampus, and you were a gnome.
Yeah, hell yeah. Okay. That's
Yeah,
some
that
Rain
happened
Man
2
shit
years ago,
right
right?
there. Yeah, it was a while ago.
Yeah, I remember your transmog.
Yeah, awesome, man. All right, that's it, guys. I'll let somebody else get in here. Can't believe I got in here, but big fan of all y'all. Have a good night, guys.
Dude, nice meeting you, Tyler.
Later, fellas.
Sure, man.
Dude, that shit
Goodbye.
is the weirdest fucking talent ever. Like, and like it. Also, like, if Tyler didn't say Krampus, I guarantee you, Asmon would have said it.
I was about to.
Yeah, like,
it was,
dude, at BlizzCon, the first BlizzCon that we went to together, the one where we did the Allcraft episode at BlizzCon, we were walking outside and we were on our way to meet up with Reeve, and like 5 people walked up to you and they were like, "Hey, it's so and so," and you were like, yeah, wrong belt," and like you rattled it off. It was fucking wild. I just don't even understand how you do it. It's kind of, I don't know. It's kind of like the dude from that one movie with Tom Cruise.
You know, that guy was like an idiot, though, right?
He was smart in some ways.
He's smart at like one thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I'm just thinking, maybe. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a doctor. But you might want to get checked out. Dude, I just saw something on Twitter. I kind of want to get your opinion.
Okay.
What do you think of this girl?
Let me make sure. Let me refresh real quick.
She's kind of cute, right?
Oh my god, dude. Oh my god, dude. Oh my god. I don't even know what to say.
Damn.
I don't even know what the fuck to say, man.
The best part is somebody photoshopped that on Belle Delphine's body.
Really?
And
Nice.
I'll send it to you because I'm going to too. Also, I found this on your Reddit.
Okay.
And now back to viewer comments. Dude, your Reddit's really good. I've never actually just gone through it before. It's good.
Yeah, they've got a lot of really funny things on there. It's a mixture of bald memes and actually it's not a mixture at all. It's just bald memes. Yeah, that's it.
What's up, Danny?
Hey man, how are you guys?
How you doing?
I'm good, man.
Good, nice to hear. Right, I got a couple of questions for both of you about the whole Shadowlands debacle with dungeons. Asmon, I know you did a little fun run with the boys, so to speak. I've done the name of it, the undead one. What did you think of the design of that? And what did you think of the way
new dungeon? I haven't really looked at it a lot, so I can't really give that much of a informed opinion. But what I can say is that the like NPCs and everything that are in there, I have seen those, and I do think it looks really good. I mean, overall, I think the dungeons will visually look good. Most of the time, like Blizzard does a pretty good job with making visually appealing dungeons and just generally doing a good job with visuals. So I would kind of expect them to be able to do the same thing with the Shadowlands dungeons.
I've like messed around with quite a few of them. Obviously, they're not super difficult for the most part. Some of them are a little bit hard because of the tuning, but they're actually, they feel really good in a lot of ways, even early. Like they feel like they're going to be a lot of fun to play throughout the
There's not
expansion.
as much trash. And I think that's a really big issue is that, like, in Legion, I remember it was about 3 to 4 trash packs between bosses of like big pulls. And now in BFA, I think it's like probably 5 to 6. So you just spend much greater amount of time doing trash versus doing bosses. And I do think that's a problem. Like, for example, if you look at like Motherload, I think that's probably the worst example of it, where you just have so many trash packs that you have to clear, and it's monotonous. And I think they need to have a better balance between boss fights and trash mobs.
Well, I think that there was an interesting idea with this particular expansion with BFA, with dungeon design, where they were like, okay, we're going to make each dungeon kind of have its own thing. I don't think it worked because I think affixes were really the thing that killed it. But when you looked at how it kind of played out, it was like, okay, you're going to go to King's Rest and it's going to be the mini boss dungeon. And then you're going to go to Motherload and it's going to be the trash dungeon. I think they all ended up kind of being the trash dungeon because because of how the affixes were actually layered on top of it. But I do think that core idea for dungeon philosophy was one that I thought was good initially.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I've always liked like King's Rest. I think that's really good. Like, I really do like running King's Rest a lot. But like, the problem is, it's so its own thing to the point where it doesn't fit into BFA, in my opinion. Like, it's nothing like anything else, and I just feel because that's, in my opinion, quite a special dungeon on its own. It just takes away from the rest of the dungeons. You know what I mean? Like it's in its own little bubble compared to the other dungeons. Because personally, I don't like any BFA dungeons, to be honest. I mean, Freehold's all right. You know what I mean? But like, I don't like. They just don't fit with how good one was, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, I think the thing is there are a shitload of people who fucking hate King's Rest too, and
That's true.
Yeah, like, and that's reasonable, right? I think the dungeons are varied and different. It's just that I think the bigger problem is, like I kind of already alluded to, the way that the affixes interact with those incredibly varying dungeons makes all of the affixes super annoying and feel like shit and make me want to do less dungeons when I actually think it's kind of fun to be embarking on a different experience. That's why having varied raid bosses is exciting in a raid tier. That's why I don't just do one thing all day. Well, now I kind of just do world quests, sadly, but that's why I liked when I used to, do a few battlegrounds, queue a few arenas, then go in, do the raid, do the battlegrounds. The dungeons themselves did feel like a varied experience, and I think if we took out some of the affixes, a lot of the problems would have gone away.
The affixes were designed for Legion dungeons.
Yep.
Not BFA dungeons.
Yeah, I think that's where the prime issue arises, because they don't like coagulate really well with each other. Like, they don't merge in a very solid format.
Well, also, like, there are just some really, really bad points. And, like, you look at, like, Toldagor and Sanguine, or, some of these other bosses where, or not bosses, dungeons, where, the mobs have, like, wildly varying health pools, and you're supposed to kill them all at the same time because of bolstering. Like, this is not really a fun experience for somebody. And it's mostly just stressful, especially, like, the other, like, compounding variable with that is you have so much other, like, incidental damage that having these things that, like, if they die at the wrong time, they'll fuck you. Like, that makes it even worse. So I don't know, man.
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to get your guys' opinion on the subject, and I'm glad we, sort of align with it. So
yeah,
that was my question. That's all I really wanted to ask. But cheers for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
It's nice getting to chat with you.
You too, boys.
Peace.
All right, in a bit.
Yeah, peace.
What's up, Abby?
Rich,
How are you?
you gotta change your ways. You got your beta for the third time.
Dude, how do I always get the same fucking Spurg? It's been the same Spurg for a month. Fucking Spurg, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, he's smart. He realizes the
He's
pattern.
good at one thing.
I switch my pattern. Yeah, asking really long questions. He switches base. I change my pattern. I'm like a coder or like a code breaker. I'm like Benedict Cumberbatch in that movie with the game. You know what I'm talking about? You know who Benedict Cumberbatch is? I'm like him.
Yeah, I know that.
I switch my patterns, dude. But this guy, he mimics my dance moves. What's up, Fenrir?
Hi.
How
What's
are
up,
you?
dude?
Okay. My question is gonna be about the lore because I think the players nowadays they don't give a fuck about lore. There's just I want to play the game, I want to kill, and just play buttons. That's pulse buttons, and the only thing they think. And how you think that Blizzard should approach to the players get more interested in?
I think that they need to make quest lines that actually encourage the players to read them and deduce information from the quest lines rather than just have people follow the different dots on the map. So, for example, there are some quests that kind of the objective is on the map, but what you need to do with the objective isn't, so you need to read the quests. And I think that Blizzard should create situations where players need to read the quests in order to actually learn what to do.
Which I think is actually a problem in Shadowlands. Sorry to cut you off, but I actually think that the checkpoint system that they added might detract from lore unless they're injecting the lore in a different way than that traditional way. Because like what Asmon's referring to is a very traditional way of getting lore, right? Which is reading and actually seeing what the quest says, and that's what you had to do in Classic. But now we're kind of in a realm where they might need to get a little bit more saucy. You know what I mean?
I think just also having voice acting for the different quests is a really good idea. Like whenever you have like NPCs talking to each other, having more voice acting would help a lot because that way people don't have to read and they can just hear it. And I think like there's always been like the argument against that people will just download add-ons, and like that's true. People will download add-ons to like make it easier for them in some ways, but like I think that you can make a system where you wouldn't really need to know a lot. You would either have to read it off of the add-on or off of the quest, and many people probably just read it off the quest because it wouldn't really be that hard to do to begin with. Like for example, a lot of the quests in Classic WoW, they're not really that hard to do. They're pretty obvious, so it's just a matter of people not really knowing where to go, for example. And like if they just told you where to go and then they're like, okay, we'll kill these mobs, and then it was like not really very evident like what kind of mobs you need to kill. I don't know like if that makes sense, like, or what kind of items you needed to loot. Yeah, like imagine, okay, this is a good one. So like imagine if it had like get supplies from this like area, and then it didn't tell you really what supplies you needed, and you had to kind of like look around and find that, and then after you clicked one it would kind of start telling you. I think that could be interesting. And like, yeah, of course people can download add-ons for it, but I think Blizzard, like, another element of that is the way that they've developed fights recently that are kind of been created with the assumption that people will be using a lot of add-ons. And I don't think that's really been healthy for the game either, because it just makes the fights unnecessarily complex, because Blizzard just designs them around the expectation that people will use add-ons to make them easier.
I actually do think, Fenrir, as well, that when you play through a lot of the new quests, and Asmon might be able to back me up on this, but on the alpha, you have a better idea of what's going on than before. I actually think the quests have been designed better this time around. Like you can tell that they've been making the game for 15 years when you play.
I've been watching some of the alpha. Various streaming is like the storytelling is way better than in BFA. I gotta say, I'm such a sucker for lore. I really like the lore, but I think Babyface just throw it all to the trash can. The storytelling is really bad. I think that the probably Shadowlands is gonna be better. I hope, because I recently started beginning to play again because I have like an issue. I have to study and stuff, and I got back, and dude, BFA fucking sucks, dude.
Yeah, I'm not gonna disagree with you there, but yeah, I'm a huge lore sucker as well, and like obviously I can see you're named after some of the best stories ever told, right? You know the good shit. That was the main reason I pulled you in. I liked your name a lot. I like stories like that. And, you know, in Wrath of the Lich King, there were some pretty sick references to things like Fenrir, right? Like, that was one of the things that WoW did very well for a long time, was they looked at great stories and they built upon them. And
they have Fenris in Halls of Valor.
And they have Skull. Like, they have so many of these characters. But it was well done. And if you didn't know who those characters were in their original form and who they were alluding to, you could still enjoy the story. And I think that there have obviously been giant leaps that they have made forward in some of the storytelling methods, but I also think that they've taken a lot of steps backwards in these convoluted stories that try to do a little bit too much. So I think it's kind of like one of those things where it's like, okay, stay in your lane, realize that this is a game that you only have for one expansion. You're not going to be able to build on it the way that a movie, like, look, Lord of the Rings was a movie series that was only developing narrative, and they couldn't even contain that in one movie. I think that you do need to pay attention to what your actual narrative device is, and I think a World of Warcraft expansion, it's you get a quick hit, and you get more ludic elements than narrative elements typically when you are playing the game, and I do think that story can be a reward as well. But yeah, I think you bring up a lot of really good points. Hey, Mcconnell, you want to see something funny? Are you watching the stream?
No, why?
Isn't it funny when I put it there? It's the new
bald customization. Damn, dude. What do you think of that? What do you think of that, dude?
As it's where your hair kind of is, too. So
Kinda? That's great.
Dude, yeah, they just added just a few seconds ago. There's actually new bald customizations for.
I know that because I just refreshed my fucking Twitter mentions, and every single mention. Look, I'm gonna tweet this out. I literally was making a picture of it right then.
Wait, girls can be bald now too.
Ugh.
It's actually, dude, Draenei. Everything I've ever said about Draenei female, I might take back now that I've seen them bald. That's too much. Whoa, female undead look really good bald.
So, who's next?
Hello, Chelsea.
Oh, hi.
How are you?
What up?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
I'm good.
Right. Hang on. I've actually got notes. My questions.
Wow.
Right. I've got at least two.
Okay.
So with Shadowlands coming up, what Azeroth zones would you guys like to see affected, or what do you think any Azeroth zones are going to be affected?
All of them.
Northrend probably is going to be a big one, right?
I want to see all of them affected. I want to see the world burn.
No,
Hey,
fuck
oh,
that. They're gonna fuck it up, dude.
Well,
Yeah.
but now it's not as big of a deal now because they have Chromie technology, right? So if they do fuck up a zone, you can just go back. But the thing, look at it this way. I talk about the lack of content in Shadowlands, in BFA. Look at what we're doing right now. We're literally going through the end game content right now is a zone from Mist of Pandaria, a zone from Ulduar, and the ability to not use the cloak and corruptions. That's what the content is right now. And I don't want to see a focus on re-kitting zones so we just have no content again. I think it would be cool if maybe we see right around the immediate area of the Frozen Throne redone, maybe a scenario even inside of the raid. But I think for the most part, let's focus on Shadowlands stuff. Let's focus on new zones because I'm tired of the shitty content that we get in old zones. Like, there hasn't been good content in old zones.
Yeah, but they've got to do something with the sword, right? Like, there's got to be something. For God's sakes, I mean, it's a fucking giant sword.
Oh, you're saying in Silithus?
Yes, it's like a giant cock sticking straight out of goddamn
Is there
Silithus.
a reason really
Chekhov's
why they have
cock.
to do anything about it, or is this just an assumption?
What are you talking about? It's a sword. It fucks up the entire zone.
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
wouldn't they?
Have you ever heard of
You don't
Chekhov's
want them to
gun?
do anything about it?
Just fly around it.
No, but in all
That can't be
seriousness,
good for the fucking planet.
yeah, I think McConnell's kind of right. Like something does need to happen eventually. I'm not sure if it's in this expansion, but think about Chekhov's gun, dude. Think about how much attention we've paid to that sword. If something doesn't happen with it, it's a complete waste, and it's a waste of our time that we looked at it. If you see a gun, the gun must go off. Otherwise, it's just a bad story.
Was it a general consensus that people didn't like how they used old zones in the 8.3 content?
I think that they just didn't like the fact that there was nothing else besides that. But I think more so than anything, the main issue was that a lot of there was no like. I think people were disappointed because Nilotha wasn't as good as they thought it was going to be, and it wasn't as expansive, and people were kind of expecting something kind of like Argus. Where Argus, I mean, people had very, very high expectations about Argus, but at the same time, I think that many people still were okay with the way that they handled it. And I think that the way that they would do that now would be fine with me. That's what I'd like to see instead. Like they do that in Argus, I guess, if that makes sense. Sorry, I was like kind of unclear.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a little bit confusing how there's kind of two Drenors. Like, there's obviously the present one and the old one. Maybe they would do something like, I don't know, like the way they've done Oldham, it being the same zone, but there's two time zones instead of actually having two different areas. It kind of makes sense more. But if you like what they did with Argus and what they did with Warlords of Draenor, then
I think that I think that they would also say, I think they have. I could be wrong about this, but I don't think that they necessarily like how WoD was implemented. I think that they felt that it was kind of confusing and not necessarily the best.
Man, like every single time, dude, that any game or anything like that explores with time travel, it's always a disaster.
It's a clusterfuck.
Yeah, just don't do it. Like that's honestly what I wish they would do.
I mean, yeah, but does that? Are you gonna say that if they do a time skip too for Shadowlands?
Time skip
well,
is
that
time
gonna be the same thing?
Because because it's not. Yeah, like that's just moving the story forward faster. Like there's no equivalency there.
Yeah, they could probably still fuck it up some way.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they will, but I'm more confident in that than another time thing.
I think I'd love it if they time skipped in Azeroth and you came out like 30 years later and Anduin's just like a grizzled middle-aged dude looking like his dad and shit.
Yeah.
I thought you went to Shadowlands with us. Did you not?
Rip.
We don't know, right?
I don't think we're 100% sure how everything. Right, he could leave at a certain point, stuff like that. We're kind of. I think there's still a lot of opportunities, and I kind of agree. Like some of the characters that suck right now, and you don't necessarily have enough time to build up their characters the way that you need to. Just leave them, and then when you come back, they got 30 years of story that you can teach us through quests, and the characters can become more interesting. I think that there is potential there. I think that, look, I know I'm going to get memed right now, and a bunch of people are going to like start spamming IAR or like be like, shut the fuck up, weeb. But, all right. But if you do look at anime, right, time skips are a very good storytelling method in a lot of animes. I mean, you come back and all of a sudden this character had an opportunity to grow. You didn't need to go through the boring parts. The gist comes across, and then all of a sudden the stories that are told are even better than before.
I think it's really important to make sure that the time skips, like, yeah, I mean, if they did that, that would be great. But, yeah, I think that people just wanted to see, like, some new type of content. And also, like, there's a lot of, like, minor things in 8.3 that are really bad. So, like, for example, most of the rare spawns don't drop anything that's meaningful. And also, they're, like, really easy to kill. Like, I don't think they've ever really done something as good as Timeless Isle since Timeless Isle.
True.
And, like, if you go back and you look at, like, some of the monsters and things in Timeless Isle, they were actually challenging. Like, the monsters and stuff like that were actually challenging. But, especially, like, the Ordos mobs and things like that. But people don't really ever think about that because, you know, it was so long ago. And, like, now they're easy. But back then, it was actually a pretty big pain in the ass to have to deal with a lot of the mobs in Timeless Isle. and I'd like to see them kind of go back to doing that. But I feel like so much Blizzard is kind of afraid of making hard content because they're worried that people will get upset because they're not able to do it.
Also, there are weird incentives around the difficult content, right? Like Mythic, the last 2 bosses of Mythic are probably some of the most challenging content that you're really going to see in a long time. But everything leading up to that, there's no real incentive to do it. So you just write off the last 2 bosses of difficulty and stay away from it because you can just do other things, which I think is a problem. I also will say, I hope that some of the things that didn't work aren't just viewed as like, this didn't work because this idea is bad, and it's seen that the implementation was just super bad. Like a progression system like corruption has potential. Like it truly does have potential. And I actually think that having world quests and dailies, like a separate world quest and daily hub, is actually something that's good. It's just like the world quest, it is, if there is a way to finish, if the world quests aren't absolute shit and actually fun the first time, like you shouldn't be on that treadmill forever. And that's been the problem with world quests as well. There are ways to make it good, but making everything never-ending content is kind of trash. Like doing the same world quest for 2 years, how can anyone think that that's good? It's obviously not good. Like having something exist for 2 years and its reward just scaling up it's bad. I mean, it's just bad. It's pretty obvious that it's going to be bad unless you're doing really innovative things to that system. So
wait, what's the topic here?
About how the game sucks dick.
Yeah.
It sucks fucking cock.
It's a fucking dick-sucking garbage-ass trash
It sucks so
game.
much fucking cock all the time.
It doesn't even suck cock.
Everywhere.
It just spits, dude.
So many.
It spits. Sucking
It doesn't
cock's
even
fine.
swallow. It
spits.
just fucking
yeah.
gargles the cock down and sucks dick.
It comes back up,
at you.
and then it spits it back in your
She's
face.
gone.
Yeah, it
She's gone.
spits it back in
Yay.
your face. And then,
Holy shit. Okay.
Asmon?
Yeah.
So you say you don't want them to do anything with time traveling?
Not reverse, no.
she
I
only
don't like
asked
the
Asmon.
idea of being able to
She only
go back in
asked
time
Asmon,
and
dude.
change the past, because I think it opens up too many narrative holes.
Why'd she say Asmon?
Because it's kind of sounded like you were a little bit
Thanks, Effie.
you were kind of averse to the time traveling just because of how badly they've done it, rather than the actual concept itself.
I'm adverse to it on a fundamental level. And I think that unless there's a universe that is completely built around allowing time travel, then and built with like that being like the fundamental mechanic of it, then I think that time travel is usually a bad mechanic for stories. And it just makes them it creates like questions in people's minds, like, oh well, if you can just go back in time, why didn't you just go back before this, or why didn't you just go do that, or whatever. And you have to like always create these like different like weird throttling devices, like throttling narrative devices in order to make sense out of it. And I think that it just ends up becoming confusing for the audience.
Didn't we go back in time with that Chromie shit?
We go back and forth with Chromie all the time.
That was kind of cool. I like that little scenario or whatever the fuck that was that you got.
Well,
the
thing
title from.
is like it's not like, and that's what I mean. Like as a vignette, I think it's fine, but if you open up time travel as just being a overall mechanic, I don't think that's necessarily good. And really, like the Chromie scenario and like a lot of the Caverns of Time things, these are basically just a plot device to retell old like Warcraft 3 quest lines and stuff like that. So I'm okay with it there because these are really just a plot device. And
that was
also,
how
like,
Caverns of Time initially worked, and it was kind of cool.
And like also the way that they have like, so the Bronze Dragon flight doesn't interfere with things because of some kind of like a weird thing. So they just simply tell you what happened rather than like allowing you to change the future.
You're fighting time travelers, I'm pretty sure is what it is.
Yeah, you fight the time travelers.
Yeah.
And so your actions in the past never influence the future. So I think that like if you allow time travel, you can never allow the actions of the past of like the time traveler to influence the future because it just opens up too many windows, right?
Yeah.
It's like a butterfly effect, etc.
At first, it was you would only go back and fight things that were trying to change the time. So, like, if you guys remember in the one where you would get the Bronze Drake and Wrath of the Lich King, you were fighting against like a dragon flight that was trying to affect time travel. I'm not sure if it was a dragon flight, but it was a group that was actually trying to affect and change time, and you were fighting against that change in time. When it got confusing was in Warlords of Draenor, when there was a split off reality. So you actually had a new reality introduced, and it was like, wait, what the fuck? Now these realities are simultaneously existing. Is this person from this reality, or is this the alternate reality one? And that's when it really
And
went
we
off
had
the rails.
Gul'dan come back into ours.
Yeah, we had alternate Gul'dan come into our reality, and he lost again. What an idiot.
Well, Gul'dan was effectively a plot device just to make Legion happen.
Biggest loser in WoW history.
Sure is.
That's a good idea,
Legion.
though. With
Oh,
the your idea with the time skip where we just come out of Shadowlands and everything's fucked, like Stormwind's completely fucked in the
Yeah.
ass, but we have Lordaeron, dude. That's
Yeah.
dope. That's
Like,
dope.
I'd be fine. Like, just fuck Stormwind. Nobody likes Stormwind anyway.
I'm so sick of it.
It's stupid.
It'd be kind of weird to just lose Stormwind, but not if it was only for an expansion. Like, if it got rebuilt, then it would be cool again, right? And
Yeah,
I
I think
think
it
that
could
if-
do with being rebuilt.
Yeah, and
They
we
could
have
rebuild it and call it Lordaeron.
Well,
I think that'll work.
we have classic WoW as well, right? It's like we are not losing. Like when people reacted very negatively in Cataclysm, it was because it was gone forever, and nobody likes the feeling of losing something forever. Pretty much every single relationship I've ever been in. But the thing is if you still do have it frozen in time somewhere and you can experience it again, then it's not a sad thing to move onto greener pastures.
Yeah.
Someone in the Discord wants me to ask you why you have such a sexy voice, Rich.
Never mind. I was going to ask somebody else that question, but I'm not going to. Thank you.
All right, well, thanks for dragging me in and talking to me.
Anytime.
Yeah, thanks.
I appreciate it.
Anytime.
It's about 2 a.m. here, so I'm going to go to bed because I got work in 5 hours.
All right. Good night. See
Oh,
ya.
good night. Good to
Good
hear more
night.
girls. Bye bye.
Bye.
Jesus, Annie, don't simp.
Yeah.
What?
Don't make
Why
it
not?
weird, Annie.
Anyway.
What do you mean? It's good to simp. It's the new
What?
in.
Wait, really?
It's good to simp. Yeah.
Girls like it when you simp?
I mean, I have to simp too.
Wait, do girls
Fuck
actually
that.
do girls actually like it when you simp?
Of course they do. What do you mean? You're feeding their ego. Everybody would like that. It's like whenever somebody comes in on like the questions and like, hey man, dude, I just want to say, man, all right, here's my question, man, how you so funny, dude? Dude, man, well, I've been watching you for so long, man. Hey, I've been subscribed for 2 years, and like everybody loves that, dude.
Okay. We'll see.
Anyway.
Yeah.
I do
I
one
like-
more thing. I gotta get some food.
Wait, tell the story. The receipts, dude.
Okay. So fast forward a year and a half ago. Rewind a year and a half ago.
Just should have stuck with fast forward.
Yeah. So me, Esfand, Rich, and Stay Safe go to Taco Cabana. And this is the Taco Cabana on I-35, which means that this is the Taco Cabana that every person that is homeless or crazy goes to. And oftentimes it's one of the two or both. Well, we sit down and we get our food and we get our receipts. And the guy comes over to us. He's like, hey, you mind if I get your receipt? And he's a big, heavy-set, like middle-aged man. And he's the kind of guy that he's got a lot of opinions about things, and he was very fastidious. He spent a lot of time, fumbling and fidgeting around. And I said, yeah, of course we can have the receipt. And then he starts explaining the entire paradigm of how the Taco Cabana app rewards program works. And honestly, you would assume that he was probably hired by Taco Cabana to do this. Like, if they haven't hired him, they should, because he did a better job selling the app than the different advertisements in the store did, and even better than the manager did. So this guy's sitting there and he's explaining it to us. And then we got to talking, and we got to talking about the Earth. We got to talking about the shape of the Earth. Guess what shape he thought it wasn't? Okay,
A circle.
that's right.
Dude, this guy was
And so
super
this guy-
convincing, though. I mean, he convinced us almost to not give him the receipts because we realized we could get free Taco Cabana.
Yeah, that's actually true. And so he sits down and he explains how the Earth is flat. He's been to the conventions. And then on top of that, he pulls up his fucking phone and he says, take a look at this. And he pulls up YouTube channels of videos that have been taken down. And he thought that videos that have been taken down meant that those videos were taken down by the government. So he says the government took this one down. They took that one down. They took this one down. They're trying to censor us, but it's not going to happen. And I've got my own YouTube channel. And I said, oh, yeah? What is it? He shows it to me. It's got 2 emojis of the Earth. It says 100% flat.
Didn't you subscribe to?
And I was like, okay, well, here's my YouTube channel. Can you subscribe to me? He's like, how do I do that? And I subscribed to myself on his account.
So the servers just went down. We got to see the dragons and Ragnar's in the end too.
Wagnarose, indeed, Wagnarose.
Yes, Wagnarose.
I told that story again today.
Oh my! How many times you gonna fucking tell the goddamn story? You tell it every fucking week.
I tell it every year.
Wait,
You tell it every
year.
other
which story?
Okay, all right, I'll tell you the story.
Wait, what is the story?
No, holy
kidding.
fuck,
Wait, I don't know
man.
the story.
It's so, dude.
It's think about the dumbest thing that you've done with your friends. This is probably twice as dumb as that.
When we got in that car in Texas with the dude with the gun.
Oh yeah, no, in the stretch Hummer, I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd
it was a
rather
good
hear
time.
the fucking cheese story, the hamburger cheese story, than that one.
You don't need cheese.
Yes.
It's such a small story though. Like, I need to figure out like there's a few like really like long stories. I need to figure out like how to tell them.
Wait, what's the Wagnerose story though?
Basically, I would go into like Discord for like different raids, and I'd ask if it was for Ragnaros, no matter what the raid was for. And then, like, so we did this for Bloodthirsty. This is like really common, and so there would be like these pugs to like farm honorable kills for Bloodthirsty. So it would be like me, Zach, and Austin, and we'd all be in the same room. And I'd join the group and ask if it was Ragnaros, and they'd be like, no. And I'd ask what Bloodthirsty is, and I'd ask if Bloodthirsty gave him out. And I'd have like a set of questions that I would ask. And then after they would answer all the questions, I would just shut up. And then the next one of us would join Discord and ask the exact same questions. And then halfway while they were doing it, I would start trying to explain it to the other person, like to Zach or Austin, knowing like, and they didn't know that we were in the same room. And then after the second one of us, you know, got all their questions answered, then the third person would come in and ask, is this Ragnaros? And then by this time, they were pissed off. So then we would start trying to explain to them, and we would pretend like we're trying to explain it to this person, like what Ragnaros is, because now we just learned that it wasn't Ragnaros. And it was like just this really stupid fucking thing that we did.
Dude, wait, I used to do a really similar thing.
When was that?
Way more gotchy. Okay, we used to do it in Wrath of the Lich King in the public Ventrilo. Did you ever use like the public Ventrilo for your server? I was on Nathrism.
No, I never did.
Okay, so we would use
I would have been banned.
Yeah, we would do the public Ventrilo, and we'd get in, we'd pug, and we'd act like we wouldn't know each other, and then halfway through we would start hitting on each other, and then by the end we would be like ERPing in the public Ventrilo. Yeah. Yeah.
There were times like I used to do all kinds of like really, really stupid shit back then. Like the first time I was actually ever on a stream was on Tally's stream.
Really?
I did a GDKP run on my DK, and it was like literally that was the story that I did, not story, but like the run that I like invented the go big dick thing, because I used it to encourage people to bid more on items. And so we did a GDKP, and the only reason I did it is that I wanted to steal all the gold at the end. And so we kill Ragnaros, which was like really kind of a surprise. And like Tally was streaming the whole thing to like 2,000 people, which like back then was like a huge fucking amount. Like this was like, he had like 20,000 viewers now, something like that. Probably, I don't know, like 10,000. It was a lot, right? And anyway, so Tally was streaming the thing, and I didn't really know who Tally was. I didn't know what Twitch was or anything like that. But like people were saying that it was really funny, and they were loving me raid leading it. So I was like, fuck, I'm just gonna hand this up as much as I can. And I went back and I tried to find Tally's VODs of like fucking 2011, 2012 to find the clip of it happening, but I could not find it. And I actually need to. I can figure out how to find it though.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so I will find that fucking VOD.
First time
Anyway.
on a stream, and now he just
Yeah.
tweets every time he tweets about store melts.
Yeah. So he so the run ends, and I was actually about to kick him out of the group because like people kept joining the Discord like and talking shit because they were mad at me because I was like hurting their feelings because I was like saying mean things to them or something, or I was upsetting the people in the chat. So nothing really has changed. And anyway, so I finally like we end the raid, and I think I steal like fucking 50,000 gold, and I do the math like 8 different times. And then I'm talking in Discord so nobody else can talk and figure it out. And I'm like, my friend Jeff is like spamming raid chat so nobody else can see anything in raid chat and like actually talk about like what's happening. Dude, we stole so much money that day. It was fucking awesome. So yeah, my first time on Twitch was ninja looting and GDKP run. Well, not ninja looting. Like we gave everybody their gold. It's just they didn't get as much as they should have gotten.
Hey, you just skimmed a little off the top.
Well, it's like, yeah, and we said we were going to buy flasks for next week's run, except we never did a run the next week. There was no next week.
Yeah, that's like right now you tell people that you're going to hang out with them at this year's BlizzCon.
Okay. To be fair, I said I might, probably. I can guarantee you I never committed to anything.
Yeah, no.
I can guarantee you.
You say, hey, I'll see you at this year's BlizzCon. I don't think I'm going the year after, but I'll see you at this year's BlizzCon. Easy.
Oh yeah, I mean, I was super, I was just super toxic back then. It was some of the best times ever. I loved it.
I actually watched. I had to do a few achievements to get the Glory of the Firelands Raider. I had a few left, and I watched your YouTube video on how to get Glory of the Firelands Raider from all the way back, dude. Terrible. It's crazy. Yeah. How much like everybody's changed. Have you ever watched any of your really old shit?
Yeah, some of them it's okay, some of them aren't. Some of them suck.
No.
It's like it's either like really good or really bad.
Yeah.
Like I remember, like I there's another one. Like I'll do one more story. I told this one today on my stream, and shut the fuck up.
Okay, sorry.
Wait, what did you say?
So, did you ever sell bear runs? Annie, did you ever sell bear runs back in... Oh, she's fucking muted. Never mind.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Did she mute? Did she even hear any of what you were just talking
I was
about?
probably telling half the story, and she's like, okay, wrap it up, Domi.
Yeah. Dude,
Nobody wants to hear that shit, dude.
Just turned off. She's like, oh, fuck this, dude. Yeah, this is going to take forever, man. I've got a stream to keep track of. So yeah, anyway, we had this one time where we were selling bear runs, and we got to the point to where we could sell a bear run with just 3 carries instead of, and then we'd take the buyer as the 4th person, and then we would just random. And what we would do is we would get all the way up to the bear mount, and then as we killed the Lynx boss, which is the last boss before the bear mount, we would vote kick the person out of the raid, or out of the group, who was the pug, and then we would give the bear mount to the 4th person, the buyer. So that allowed us to cut one person out of the out of splitting the gold, and so we were still able to make money doing it at only 10k or like 8k or something. So what ended up happening is like one guy that we did that to, he actually made a character on my server, and he messaged me. He's like, "Bro, did you actually just kick me out right before the bear?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Why'd you do that, man?" And I'm like, well, I was selling the run, and so like I had to sell the run, and like if I had given it to you, you could roll from the buyer, and then I wouldn't get the money from the buyer. And then he's like, okay, well that makes sense. I'm not even mad. I'm impressed. That's really smart. And I'm like, thank you, man. And I'm like, do you want us to help you get yours? He's like, yeah. And so then we take him, the guy that we literally just fucking kicked out of the group and cheated out of his bear mount. We fucking re-invite him back to our group, and we re-queue the 4 of us, and then we kick a 5th person out, and we get him the mount this time. And it was just like, I was like, yeah, sure, why not? I thought it'd be funny.
You didn't even charge him. You just got it for him.
No, we just did it for free. I was like, yeah, fuck it.
It's actually pretty cool.
Yo, guys.
What?
Great story. Oh, great story.
Oh, dude!
Great story. I gotta lay down and get some food, dude. I will see you guys later, okay? I'm fucking exhausted. Okay.